Big Shot Bob snubs LeBron, names Phil Jackson in controversial all-time Lakers top 5. The challenge of the Lakers pantheon. The conversation about the greatest players to ever wear the purple and gold is one of the most hotly debated topics in sports, simply due to the sheer depth of Hall of Fame talent the Los Angeles Lakers franchise has produced. The latest to weigh in is 7-time NBA champion Robert Horry, known as Big Shot Bob for his legendary clutch playoff heroics, 3 of which came during his time with the Lakers' early 2000s dynasty. Horry, a celebrated champion but perhaps not a statistical superstar, brought a unique and highly controversial perspective to the discussion on the Byron Scott's Fast Break podcast, releasing a top 5 Lakers list that immediately set the basketball world abuzz. The biggest shock: Horry not only excluded current superstar LeBron James, a 4-time MVP and 2020 Lakers champion, but he also did something arguably even more radical. He used one of his coveted spots on a non-player, former Lakers head coach Phil Jackson. The LeBron exclusion: tenure versus accomplishment. The absence of LeBron James, who is statistically one of the greatest players in the history of the sport, is the main talking point. While James delivered a championship to the franchise in 2020, solidifying his legacy in Los Angeles, the general debate against his inclusion on a Mount Rushmore often centers on his relatively short tenure compared to Laker lifers like Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson. Horry has previously weighed in on this type of debate, valuing a player's long-term commitment and total impact on the franchise's culture. For a player like Horry, who was integral to a three-peat dynasty, the Laker legacy seems tied to years of sustained dominance. LeBron James, in this view, is a modern icon who came to the team in the twilight of his career and delivered one title, but his all-time stature primarily belongs to the Cavaliers and Heat. While James has surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the NBA's all-time scoring leader, Horry evidently feels his Lakers resume does not yet stack up against the franchise's decade-spanning legends. Horry's top-tier legends: the unwavering selections. Before the big surprise, Horry laid out his initial choices, which largely aligned with the traditional Lakers hierarchy. Interestingly, he began by creating a tier above his top 5, specifically for Magic Johnson. Horry stated that Magic is just on a whole another level, effectively removing him from the core list of 5 and suggesting he is the undisputed number 1. Horry's official top 5 then started with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Horry noted that Kareem doesn't get enough credit for his accomplishments and impact, citing his unique skyhook and his overall dominance. Jerry West, the logo an obvious choice, representing the early Lakers' success as a player and his foundational role as a general manager who helped build the Shaq-Kobe dynasty. Shaquille O'Neal, Horry's teammate for the three-peat. O'Neal's physical dominance and 3 Finals MVP awards while in Los Angeles make him a lock. Kobe Bryant, another no-brainer and a former teammate. Kobe's 5 championships and 20-year career solidify his spot on any Laker list. The head coach curveball: why Phil Jackson made the cut. The 5th and final pick is where Horry delivered his signature clutch shot. Instead of naming an iconic player like Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, James Worthy or James himself, Horry named head coach Phil Jackson. Horry was a key contributor on the Lakers teams that Jackson coached to a three-peat from 2000 to 2002. In Horry's eyes, Jackson's impact transcended the coach's box and was essential to the franchise's success. Horry argued that Jackson earned the spot because of his almost impossible task of managing the complex dynamic and legendary egos of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Horry said it's philosophy. I know he didn't play, but I think it's Phil, because the way he was able to bring Shaq and Kobe together. Jackson, with his 5 championships as Lakers head coach, is arguably the most successful coach in team history. Horry's logic is that without Jackson's unique ability to unify a locker room and impose a winning culture, the famous triangle offense notwithstanding, the three-peat simply would not have happened, making him as valuable as any player on the court. Analysis and conclusion: the Laker standard. This selection immediately puts Horry's list in its own category, distinguishing it from purely statistical or hardware-based lists. By including a coach, Horry redefined the greatest Laker to include those who most impacted the franchise's ability to win championships. LeBron James, despite his 2020 title, is ultimately viewed through the lens of a great player who played for the Lakers, rather than a player whose entire career is intertwined with the Laker legacy like the players on the list. Horry's list of Kareem, West, Shaq, Kobe and Phil Jackson, with Magic Johnson in his own tier, underscores a perspective driven by dynastic success and the challenges involved in achieving it. For Big Shot Bob, it seems that the criteria for a top 5 Laker is not just raw talent, but the unique ability to forge an iconic, multi-championship run, a standard that, in his view, the one-time title run with LeBron James does not yet meet.